Alright. Here we go. Whoops. Hey everyone. Welcome if you're watching this one of my videos for the first time. May God bless you and enjoy your day. Me, myself, I call myself RK Stud. I'm Robin Krotzer. Like I said, if this is one of your first times watching me, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a little bit different than what I usually do, which is upload wrestling matches and talk about comic books, show off comic books and things that I bought and toys and everything like that. And this has been tugging at me lately, and first things first, I want to thank my young friend Maverick for encouraging me, just to give me just that little extra push I needed to do something like this. Because this thing has been tugging at me for quite a while, and of course this is my testimony and why I have a strong faith in God and belief in God, because this is a very, very true, real story. I don't perchance this to any coincidences or anything like this. Excuse me for drinking. It is a little humid today. And so, back in the early part of 2009, my mother was sick. We didn't know what was wrong with her. Doctors have said it's just sinuses and bronchitis. And one put a... Was it exactly... Oh my God, I can't remember the doctor's name. But he also treated my brother for his thyroid. So this is a very good throat doctor. But he put a light tube down, checked her throat. It was choking her. She was immediately rushed to the hospital. This was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday in late February. So, had to call, me and my brother both had to call our bosses and from the shops that we worked at and explain what's going on, that mom's being rushed and to the hospital up in Toledo, and I can't remember if it was St. Charles or St. Bede's, but or if it was like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I can't remember. So, yeah, our bosses worked at both of our jobs, worked with us, had people covering both of our shifts for the next couple of weeks. For the next week or so at least. And that night, we didn't know what was happening. Well, the next couple of nights, we still didn't know. They still weren't sure at the hospital what it was. And I know what day it was, what the date wasn't, but it had to have been February, late February. And they told us what it was. Throat cancer. They didn't say. Did they say it was third or fourth stage? Can't remember. But I also remember, while we were up there, my brother and I we had lots of friends that cover, we both kind of share the same circle of friends, which is pretty awesome. So, and they knew we were dealing with stuff, and they're like, hey, when you guys come back home, we'll all just come out and hang and get you guys' mind off of this, which was good and fine, because you kind of needed to fall back on friends and family after some devastating news like that. I had already had someone covering my evening shift. They were going to do it, so I called them and said, no, let that person know what was going on, and I was just going to just take a breather for the night, and they understood. And then my step-grandmother had to listen in, excuse my language, being the little witch that she was. Oh no, you're going to work. You're not getting out of this. So my brother was off. So, fine. He could, at least he had friends. Me, I went and worked my afternoon shift, which was like about 4:30 to 11:30 at night. Well, it was just a normal shift. Nothing exciting really happened. Worked my shift, did my job duties, but of course, in the back of your mind, you're worrying about your mother, and worrying about your mother, you're worrying about how things were gonna go. What if this goes wrong? What if this happens? You have all them thoughts in your head, and then I can't remember what time it was. Maybe 9:30, 10, somewhere late in the shift. And this little yellow noisy car comes in. And didn't hear it until it pulled in. And a lady and her grandchild, old lady and her grandchild, came in. This lady wasn't dressed in anything pretty or extravagant or anything like that. She was all dressed in rags. But she noticed something was definitely off about my character, and about my person, and she was like, "You're worrying about somebody, aren't you?" And I couldn't help but just a little, yeah. She goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, my mom's in the hospital. We're just told she has throat cancer." And this is the words that get me to this day. "Oh, well, I'm just going to go visit my brother. He's up in..." Like I said, I can't remember the hospital Mom was in. She was either in St. B or St. Charles. I can't remember which. But the more I think about it as time is going on, she mentioned the hospital, and it didn't run into my mind at that point, that she exactly knew the hospital, and that her brother was in there. And it was 9, 10 o'clock at night, when visiting hours aren't available. I didn't think about that for years. And so, the next thing that happens, she asked me to come around the counter, and she just gives me this biggest, warmest hug embrace that just made me just feel so warm and loved, and felt like the weight had been taken off my shoulders. And then the next thing she said to me was, it was going to be okay. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how you know it's going to be okay, but it was iffy, and it was, you just take someone's sympathy and words to meaning. And then she and her grandchild left. I can't remember if it was a grandson or a granddaughter, but someone was. It was her. She was tall. The little kid was, of course, smaller. And then it just felt like they got in the car. They went down the hill, and it felt like I could hear them for about like 5-10 minutes. Now keep in mind, I didn't think nothing of it to begin with. Oh, she's just gonna go see her brother. Okay. Well, a couple weeks go by. Didn't really think nothing more of this. And then Mom started her chemo and radiation treatments, of which there wasn't a whole lot. She had 40 radiation treatments and 8 chemos. And then they waited a few months to make sure she was A-okay, to double check her. And her doctor went to give her the operation to take her trach out of her throat. And that was supposed to be a long hour and a half operation. But it was like maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, and he came back to the waiting room where me and my uncle and my aunt were sitting. And he said, "Check us out. Do you know what happened to her cancer?" We go, "No." He goes, "It's all gone. Like, there's no signs she has cancer." And I still didn't think anything of it until it flashed back to me. The lady in the little yellow car, dressed in rags, had said it was going to be okay. Now, I've always believed in God. I've even went to church on and off as a kid, and even got out of church for a while. Still not saying I don't believe in God. Didn't believe in God. I've always believed in Him. And even now, I still go to church here and there. But here and there, and try different churches, even though I went to a Catholic school for quite a while. But that night, with that lady in rags in that yellow car, I didn't hear beforehand until she had pulled into the parking lot of my work. Said those things, gave me a hug, said everything was going to be okay. Going down the hill, and I swear I still heard the car for 5-10 minutes. And saying that late at night she was going to go visit her brother at a hospital I didn't mention, but she said that clear as day the hospital Mom was in. And I hope you come away believing in God, believing in angels helping Him to help us through our most difficult times. And there were a lot of other things that were going on at the time with me. Besides just that, just personal life issues. I won't get into them. But if anyone ever comes and calms you down from a family emergency, gives you the nicest, warmest hug where everything just melts, and then months later, you know, your prayers are answered, and you're still kind of just shocked by it, which I am. And to God, thank you for giving me that miracle to see that you actually do care about us down here. And I know I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. The only one that's perfect is Jesus Christ. But for everything that went through in that difficult of time, with her saying it would be alright, everything was okay. Her cancer has been in remission. And we had one doctor that thought that gave us the cancer scare that it was back. So she went up and made an appointment with her doctor a few years back. And he yelled at her like, "What are you doing here?" She said, and she said, "Well, someone said the cancer's back." And he said, "No, it isn't. You're totally fine." So just keep that in mind. God is real. Jesus is real. The Holy Spirit is real. Angels are definitely helpers from God. He couldn't make it down here and say, "Robin, it's going to be okay." He had some old looking angel just tell me it would be fine. I can't describe the hug. I can't do anything about it. It's just, it was there. And in that moment, I didn't worry about it anymore. Yeah, I was still a little bit worried when she started doing her cancers and her chemo and her radiations, but God had let that worry off of my back, and He took it for Himself. Say what you want. Comment down below if you'd like. If you're glad I shared this, let me know. If you have a story, share it. If you scoff, I'm sorry. I'll pray for you, and hopefully one day you'll find God in your heart. Thank you all.